Yo, what's going on with it, Panther Nation? It's your boy, CPG, Carolina Panthers guy, and we're back. And man, not only are we back, but we the ones. We got the first overall pick in the NFL draft now. Let's talk about it.
Wake up, no pancakes, just syrup. 10 toes down, yeah, stay on alert. I get it in like the first and the third. This shit I got on it came out the dirt.
So, the Panthers, I'm going to take y'all through this whole thing with me. Because people are going to be like, how do you feel about it all off season, this, that, and the third? I'm going to direct you to this video because we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to take you through this. So for a few days, I had kept hearing from not even Panther sources, Bears sources. I kept hearing that Chicago and Carolina were in talks with each other about possibly trading up in the draft, or Carolina trading up. And then out of nowhere, Ash Rader, actually, shout out to Ash Rader, he tags me in our group chat we're in with the screenshot of Ian Rappaport saying that the Bears and Panthers had just traded the number 1 overall pick. So I was like, this got to be a troll, right? Because I was like, Ash wants CJ Stroud too. So I was like, maybe I'm getting trolled. So I get on Twitter. I go over to Ian Rappaport's account, and I'll be damned. I was like, we have the first overall pick. Now, we gave up the 9th pick, which was our original pick, the 61st pick, which is the second round pick we got from the Niners in the CMC trade. It's almost at the end of the second round. We still have our original second round pick, and we gave them a 2024 first rounder and a 2025 second rounder. So when people seen all that together, it was breaking news. It was shocking a lot yesterday at the time when we all found out about it. I don't think people took in that we gave up a first and a second this year. We still have a second and a first this year. So we broke even this year. Next year, we're just giving up our first, which if we draft right this year, we shouldn't need to go crazy with that first next year. And then we have the rest of our picks after the first next year. And then the year after that, we just don't have a second. So everybody's like, you guys got killed. You guys got killed. We really didn't. We really set it up so we're not fucked in the future. And we still have a chance going forward. The worst thing about it is we had to give them DJ. Now, I was hearing from league sources, I was told that the deal was not going to happen unless we gave Chicago DJ, which is what I figured. Because if we didn't have to give DJ up, we probably wouldn't have. I love DJ. Bears fans, please take care of DJ Moore. He was my favorite player on the team. Even when we had Christian McCaffrey, I really wanted DJ to be the next Steve Smith guy for the team, but you got to do what you got to do to get a quarterback. People can say what they want to about this quarterback class. Young and Stroud are at least pro-ready. They're the most pro-ready quarterbacks in this class, and I don't think you could go wrong with drafting either one. My biggest concern being the size of Bryce Young, and Frank Reich likes bigger quarterbacks. We know that. I've heard that David Tepper, our owner, really likes Bryce Young, and Frank Reich really likes CJ Stroud. I don't know how true that is, or if we're trying to bait maybe Houston into trying to trade up a spot to give us some more capital back, or maybe get Brandon Cooks as a weapon for CJ out of it, or what. Because people keep going, the Panthers are going to get Bryce Young or Anthony Richardson. Bro, all I've heard all offseason, even before we traded for the first overall pick, was Panthers really like CJ Stroud. Panthers are really high on CJ Stroud. Josh McCown, the day after we hired him as quarterbacks coach, publicly praised CJ Stroud and compared him to Joe Burrow. So to me, all offseason has been pretty obvious to me that we want CJ Stroud. The other things you might be hearing, I think the Panthers are trying to gauge how other teams are feeling or what other teams may be interested in. so that they know what moves we can or cannot make, potentially also again in the draft, or potentially this off season, whatever the case may be. But I'm excited. We've been going through washed up vet, this guy, that guy, Teddy, Sam, Baker, PJ, Jacob Eason, Heineke, Kyle Allen, washed up Cam. We could do this all day probably, but for the sake of brevity, we're not going to. I believe I said the majority of the names anyway, so we've been going through it. Frank Reich did it in Indy with the Colts, and the Colts look like they're still going to have to look for one unless they decide to settle on like Levis, or if Richardson falls to them, maybe Richardson. But yeah, we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be a hell of an off season. The NFL free agency is about to start, and we're going to get an idea of what maybe teams are going to try to take care of in free agency before we do hit the draft next month. I'm excited, man. We finally have a chance to get a quarterback for the first time since that man right there. And if you don't know, if you can't tell from the camera angle, it's my Cam Newton poster. If you've watched my channel for a long time, even at the old house, that Cam Newton poster used to be on the wall. First overall pick for the first time since we picked Cam in 2011. We can pick Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. My biggest concern with Bryce Young being his size. I don't know. Who knows, man? There's some guys who are small and turn out to be good, but coming from, we just watched Baker last year, and I was at the game when we played Arizona last season in Charlotte, and let me tell you how many passes I got to see batted down at the line from Baker. I really don't want that again. That may be subconsciously weighing into my decision of leaning CJ Stroud. Because let me be clear with you, all of you. I love Bryce Young. Bryce Young mentally, I think, is the most pro-ready quarterback in this draft. If you watch his tape, to me, it's like if when a play breaks down, it's almost as if Bryce Young sees the field in slow motion. And that's what elite NFL quarterbacks can do. It's like the whole field slows down for him. And you can just, I don't know how to explain it to you other than if you watch his film or if you watched him play at Alabama, you've probably seen what I'm talking about, where it looks like the game just slows down for Bryce Young. So mentally, I think Bryce Young's football IQ is off the charts. I think Bryce Young did more with less at Alabama, not having as many receivers as C.J. Stroud, which is what everybody keeps saying. If the Panthers want C.J. Stroud, he was always surrounded with weapons at Ohio State. And the Panthers don't have anybody now. Well, first of all, Terrace Marshall Jr. stepped up last year, so all of y'all can shut up about that. Shi Smith, he comes around in spurts. Usually does his best work in the preseason. Laviska didn't even really have time to learn the playbook, considering when we traded for him last year. And now we have a new coach. So we'll see what Laviska can do. We'll see what TMJ, Terrace Marshall Jr. for non-Panthers fans, can do. Shi Smith, Rashard Higgins is a free agent, and we didn't even use him. So I'm still wondering, why the fuck did we sign Rashard Higgins last year? And I don't think he ever even saw the field. He was like almost never active. And if he was active, they just didn't play him. I don't know. The Panthers were one of the 11 teams at Odell Beckham's private workout, so the Panthers are keeping an eye on receivers, it seems. People forget, we still got 6 draft picks in this draft. We still got first, second, third, I think 2 fourths and a fifth. I'm missing one. There's another one in there. Maybe 2 5s, 2 4s, or 2 3s and 2 4s. It was one of the two. But we have 6 picks. We've still got a first, second, third. We just don't have a 7th round pick, I believe. It might actually have been 1-6. We don't have a 7th round pick. But, I'm not mad about that. You're not missing much in the 7th round unless you're Brock Purdy and the Niners and you just fucking happen to have the right offensive scheme for any fucking quarterback to come in there and plug and play. But I digress. This has been about 10 minutes. Hey, man, I'm excited. We get to get a quarterback of the future. I am a bit concerned about what we do at weapon, like wide receiver and tight end this offseason. I would like to see how that goes, because as long as we don't fuck ourselves up, we got us a quarterback finally. We don't have to keep signing vets. We can develop a man. And, that's what I've been wanting. I made a video 2 weeks ago saying the Panthers needed to do exactly this. Don't get Derek Carr. The Saints got Derek Carr. Now watch the Saints be set back several years while the Panthers get the quarterback of the future. That's all I'm saying, y'all. With that being said, keep pounding.
Keep pounding.